Thanks for tuning in to the Diaphragm Dynasty. I'm back with another R&B discussion, and of course, this is a major discussion about verses. And of course, verses is a mashup of two artists, going back and forth on their musical catalogs, and playing their best songs against each other. And then, of course, as the fans, we decide who won that round and who won the matchup. And there's been a lot of great matchups in these. We just recently saw the Tank and Tyrese one. There's been the Gucci Jeezy one that was the highest rated. And I think this next matchup that won't ever be created, but it's good for fictional uh, arguments or fictional debates to be discussed. And it's Beyonce against Rihanna in the verses. Now, these two artists are above being R&B stars. They're pop stars. They're legends. They're walking, living legends. These guys are, or these women have contributed a lot to not just R&B, but to pop. Beyonce's done country, Rihanna has done reggae. So these artists have transcended their respective genres and have done so many other great things. But I think this versus, if it could ever come together, would be the largest versus ever, and it would require certain things that other verses didn't require, especially as far in terms of venue. The venues would have to be large. It have to be a stadium or arena. It'll have to be probably outside somewhere because of the fan base and the money that it can generate. It would also, if it's streamed, it will probably require pay-per-view. It would require some kind of monetary entrance to watch it because they would capitalize so much off of this. Just because these artists don't step out much, especially Rihanna, but these artists command so much attention and respect and command so many different things that you would have to involve money into it. And I think you could make hundreds of millions of dollars. But I don't think it would ever come together because these stars are just too big at this point. But these are big stars that command a lot. But who will win this versus? Because Jay-Z is affiliated with both these artists. Of course, he's married to Beyonce, has songs with Beyonce, has an album with Beyonce, but he's responsible for the ascension, so to speak, of Rihanna. She was a rock, part of his label at one point. So that would be very interesting because Jay-Z probably would have to perform with both because he has Crazy in Love with Beyonce, who's a crazy hit, but even bigger record, an Umbrella with Rihanna. So he would have to perform for both, you would think. Now Beyonce does have a larger catalog. She does have 13 number one singles. Um, four is with Destiny's Child, so she has nine individually. But Rihanna has 11 all solo. Of course, she was never in a group, but she has all solo record number one hits. But she has an hiatus of the same of like Frank Ocean. I think it's 2016 was her last project. So she's been pretty dormant, but her old catalog can get her there, even though Beyonce has more recent material. Even though it's country music, she has that recent catalog. And, Versus is about mega hits and it's about crossover records. And I think Rihanna has the upper hand in this because her records can transcend more than just R&B. And Beyonce does too, to a degree, but Rihanna even more so, especially with Umbrella. If she plays Umbrella, that could beat anything Beyonce could put out because it's just crossover. And depending on who the fans are, especially if it's a diverse fan base, Rihanna's going to win that one easily. And she has work and she has better have my money, which is not a top number one hit, but it's a great hit. Diamonds is a big record. What's My Name? We Found Love is definitely one of those records that crosses over. If you go to any club, any nightclub in the urban community or in the suburban community, We Found Love is a hit that everybody's going to dance to, knows, and can relate to. So Rihanna has a lot of records that cross over, and I think that gives her an advantage because she's more poppy than even Beyonce is. And Beyonce does have some hits that will cross over to any genre. I mean, Single Ladies Put a Ring on It. Most women can relate to that. They know that song. They can dance to it. And it has Andre 3000 on it. But Beyonce is more traditional R&B. Even though she does pop records and she does she does songs that cross over. But for the most part, I think Rihanna has the advantage in this matchup. Now, Beyonce does have some underrated tracks, like "Sweet Dreams" is a huge record that can cross over. I don't think it got the popularity or the promotion that it should have gotten. It's one of those songs that I found about 5 years after it came out, and that's because, Lil Wayne freestyled off it, and I didn't realize it was a Beyonce song. I thought it was a Lil Wayne song. But it's one of those songs that has a poppy feel to it. It's very breathy, it's very energetic. It's one of those feel-good songs. But a Beyonce song like Love on Top or a 1+1 or Irreplaceable for sure. It's one of those Neo-written tracks, um, that is more traditional R&B, but it's a feel-good song that people can relate to. But sometimes other ethnicities and races don't relate to music that's more soulful. They want something less seasoned, I guess, something like poppy. And Rihanna makes more of that poppy type of music, even though she can be a great traditional R&B singer. But I think she buttered her bread from those poppy type songs like "Shut Up and Drive" and things like that. Now, I don't think this will matchup will ever happen, because, like I said before, these stars are just too big and it requires so many different things. It would take months to get together. They would have to pick a city or a venue. They would have to agree on those things, and they would have to come on to these monetary terms. So there are a lot of different things, but I think it would be great for the R&B genre and hip hop as well because of the platform that it is. But I think this would generate a lot of sales and revenue and help rejuvenate the R&B scene because I think it's slowly starting to dissipate, and we don't want to see that because it's been around for so long, even longer than hip hop. So I think R&B needs this moment of a versus. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever get it until they're probably older or something, but it definitely would be great to see. But tell me your thoughts about who you think will win a matchup and versus between Rihanna and Beyonce. And until next time, I'll see you next time.